Hey guys, I'm the philosopher. I'm a life coach and very big into the FGC, very passionate about the FGC, I should say. And today I have another guest, someone I had the chance to meet in person over Michigan Masters. We call him Input Output. He's a streamer, basically a content creator, and an influencer of the FGC, especially in the Detroit scene. But yeah, I have him on the show today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Pretty good here. The first question, it's always an obvious question, is just like, how did you get involved in fighting games in FGC?
So I'm a latecomer. I think this is now my third or fourth year in the Detroit scene. I was a big online player for Street Fighter 4, and I ran into a player named Armbird, who now is a DBFZ player, 16 player, so you gotta hate him. And he was playing T-Hawk, and I was playing Sim and Evil Ryu and 4, and just got to talking to him online. He's like, "Hey, there's this local out at this bowling alley in Detroit." And so I wandered out there, and it was crazy. My first time out there, I got to play Nephew, Alan's son, who's now a Colleen player. And my first time out, I got second in the tournament by beating Nephew in Street Fighter V with Dulcim. And that was how I came in. And at the time, I had no idea what was going on with our local scene. Before that, when I was a bit younger, I was into Marvel 2 in the arcades, and I traveled a bit to play some tournaments there, but nothing like the scene is today. It was very different back then.
I guess what kept you coming back to the scene after that tournament?
What kept me coming back to Detroit was, the competition was good. I have not beaten Nephew in tournaments since. He studied his matchup and has since dominated me. I kept coming back because Detroit is really real. It's dirty. It's gritty. It's really, really supportive in a strange way. I have a couple of stories, some of which are bluer than others. And some of the people are magnetic. It's just a good time. It's a social place as well as a competitive place. And we do it with flair.
No, I have to agree with that. I've been to two or three different tournaments in Detroit, and this is the first time that I went. Michigan Masters was the first time that I went. I don't want to say as the leader, but like the most experienced person at tournaments. Normally, I would go with a few other people from my old group, and they'd show me the ropes. But now I'm at this point to where I kind of understand that I'm bringing people who aren't as experienced or just tag-alongs. And so I played in the Street Fighter V tournament, and this was the first time that I've actually noticed this happen to me, and I was surprised by my reaction. So I can't remember the name. He was a Ken player, but he had people cheering for him and cheering against me. I talk about it in a separate video, but it's very fascinating because, like, I felt like it was harmless, first off, but they were talking smack, cheering up his friend, talking about my character and all this stuff, and I'm like, I felt more compelled to beat him now. Like it was really a very fascinating experience to like have these people talking smack behind me and being like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you," and then I wound up winning that match. But it felt so good. It made that win feel even better. Which I didn't think was possible. I was playing Fang. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it just the little frosting on the cake because I beat you with Fang.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just kind of cool. But like you were saying, the Detroit scene definitely gets loud, gets crazy. But at the end of the day, like when they saw who I was, and I was, I shook his hand and all that stuff. The people behind him weren't like actually being mean. They didn't wish any ill intent on me. They were just trying to support their friend. And I thought that was very fascinating, and it makes the stakes feel higher without having to like make it a monetary investment, if that makes sense.
The way that it's a really hard, that feeling is really hard to capture. It's something that I really love about our scene is that it's rowdy, it's rambunctious, and it sounds like an attack. But it's not. It's about the moment. It's about the exchange between two people who are fighting it out, trying to just win, trying to beat them. But everybody knows at the same time, it's not about hurting the person that's sitting next to them. It's about performing your best and seeing who is the best in that moment. And we're going to get as loud about it as we can. Or even in a terrible match between terrible players, we still want to hype them up. We still want them to show us everything they've got so that you can say, yeah, you beat his ass. And that's really what people are going for. They want that drama, that story at the end between two people, even if they were terrible on the sticks, but there was still a brawl, there was still a battle, there was a comeback, there was defeat, there was soul crushing, just awfulness, and then all of a sudden we get up and we're done and it's over and everybody's having a good time. It's so hard to capture that if you're not there. I've been trying my best to capture it on stream, and it doesn't convey well. You get you get lots of snippets that out of context just look abrasive, and it's something that I'm struggling with as a member of this community who is real pale around a much darker community that is like it looks like everybody's getting swamped and mobbed, and that's not what's happening. It's really hard. And you see people that are so polarizing, like Caps, who was probably behind you yelling. And Caps is one of my favorite people. He cares deeply about his community. He supports them at every turn, in game, out of game, in person. He helps them organize their finances. He helps them just get around in their daily lives. And then after knowing me for barely a month, we went to NEC, and Caps spotted me out of the crowd, and he's like, "Hey, Io, come over here. I want to introduce you to all of these people." So Caps became just a touching point, and he's so electric and magnet. He's just a magnet for people, and he draws people in and he introduces them. He helps to build a community. But when you see him in these little snippets, he looks way different. He looks real menacing, real terrifying, and like he's really screaming to hurt somebody. But that's not who he is. And if I could get that feeling, if I could get that understanding of how great this person is, and there are a lot of people like Caps too that are in the scene that have this just different personality that comes out of Detroit. It's really interesting and it's really fun to be around. I love it. If I could find a way to push that onto the camera and to push that onto the matches, then I would have so many more people just flocking to the scene, wanting to play with these people, wanting to become a part of our community and join in that experience. So that's it's tough. It's tough to get out there, and I've been trying.
To share like a really short story, I've seen all Caps at just about every single event that I've been to. The first event being Combo Breaker in Chicago, 2016, I want to say. 2016, 2015, one of those two. And I will say for the first few years, like I had never talked to all Caps, but you can't help but hear him. And I thought this dude was like super obnoxious because I saw this person in person, but out of context. Because I was new to this and I was like, who is this loud guy just like yelling nonsense all the time? And then when I went to Michigan Masters and, I heard a lot of people talking good stuff about him and, all that's all Caps. And I was like, I'm going to go introduce myself to this person because I've seen him at every single event and I don't know anything about this guy and I'm judging him. And like just had this conversation with this dude and he was really cool. He wasn't the person that I assumed he was. And part of my job as a coach is to not judge people, which is why I wanted to go and talk to him because I felt like this emotional reaction to this person who's I'm a very quiet person. Like I can get hype, but my natural default voice is very quiet. So like his contrast to me just like rubbed me the wrong way. And I had to get out of my comfort zone to talk to this person. But no, he was a really, really cool person. Very, very kind, very polite, but just sincere at the same time. Like he lets that emotion out that he feels. And it's I think uncomfortable for a lot of people, like people who are reserved like myself. We don't get like that often. So I think he might rub those kind of people the wrong way. But at the same time, it's very infectious. And when you stop judging like what he's doing or get annoyed by it, he's not a bad person. And there's a lot of people like that. And that I think that adds value to the FGC. I definitely think like the Detroit FGC is very fascinating. And I've only been there a few times, so I can't quite put my finger on like what it is that's infectious about it. What's like charismatic about the Detroit FGC. But yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. He's one of those people that out of context on camera, he's either like he has high entertainment value, but like people don't see the substance to it. But I think he definitely does. Like he adds value to the FGC. Like people like that help you play better, like just by either like cheering against you or cheering for you. And that doesn't make sense to some people, but I think for the people who have actually experienced that, that'll make plenty of sense.
Yeah, but that's not to say, and there is balance. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is going to behave well all the time. And when you have that much impact, like Caps, and footwork. I'm trying to think of who else is I put in that same category. Those are the two that stand out to me. They're both really warm, but man, they talk that ish.
Mm-hmm.
But they can go too far, and that can hurt. But you have to. So that's the portion where you'll get some pushback, like, hey, you're being a little soft. Well, yeah, they did go a little far, but you've got to take the whole person on balance, and that's tough. That's really tough sometimes, especially when you're in a high tension moment, when you've got a match that you're really invested in, because I haven't beaten this person ever in a tournament, or this is a really close match and I really want to win it. And then you got this person who just crosses that line a little far. Then the normal level of elevation goes one step further, and so you gotta pack it down and stomach through. And I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times, and I choke. I know I choke, but that's why we get the noise canceling headphones and move on and take that. You got to hold that L. That's just how it
Yeah.
goes.
Everyone's threshold for like annoyance or emotional reactions is going to be different, so it's hard to say how someone's going to react to it. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
But it's we're a community, and we're getting better. There's a corn era that I was not a part of, that a lot of people had a lot of affection for, and I think that was because they were part of it on the inside. They weren't the people that were affected by it, because corn had a terrible reputation from the outside. That they were thieves, they were violent. These were all rumors. I don't know if any of them are substantiated, but they're the rumors. And if you're in that group that's being attacked, then you've got a tight brotherhood, a tight community that's bound around being oppressed. Which you're coming from Detroit, so you're already oppressed. Like, you need some help. You need a support group. So that's what corn was, and that, at least from where I stand, because I wasn't around for it. But then there's this like desire to keep pushing that kind of attitude forward, and be less inclusive. But at the same time, there's a lot of pushback from the rest of the community. Like, no, come on, let's bring some new people in. We want to grow, and that's happening with the same rambunctiousness that you see. So we've got a nice shift in our community. It's going up. We've got more events coming. We've got sponsors. We've got a relationship building with Outer Haven in Ohio. Just happened this last weekend. So there are lots of good things. It's really a nice time to be a part of the Detroit FGC. And if you join us now, it's a really good time to be intimately involved. We're not big enough that you're facing a crowd that I don't know. I tell everybody that shows up, if you don't say hi, I'm going to be upset with you, because I want to know all of my players. So if you walked in my door once, I'm going to recognize you. I may not remember your name because I got too much going on, but I definitely want to know who all the players are. I call them my players because I'm trying to push them out onto the world so that people can see them and be part of our experience. So,
well, that's a good question, actually. Why is that? So why is pushing out players to the world important for you?
It's honestly because of what they give me. I've got so many stories about people being amazing. I can go on for days. I love this community. They're good. They're good players. There are some that are focused on being the best competitively. You've got your Alucards, your Crones, your Chakotay, your Footworks, your L-Trains, your Highs, and then you've got people that want to be part of a competitive scene that don't necessarily want to be the best in the tournament, but they like to compete, and they bring personality and flair. You know, that's people with full-time jobs and other commitments, but still really like that environment. And then you've got just the randoms. You know, like I think the guy you played against was probably Salty Tupacs. Was that his name? The Chem player?
Maybe. He was like he was a Chem player. He was playing DBZ on stream, and then he immediately came and fought me. Like, he was wearing like this muscly Vegeta shirt or whatever. I don't remember his name.
Oh, was he white?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Brandon. That's Brandon White. Brandon's another great guy. He's got, you know, he comes by. He's a chef, and his girlfriend is graduating from business school right now, and she brings cupcakes to our weeklies. Like, come on, what kind of how much better does it get? Right? We have
pretty awesome.
We have trash talk on Twitter for a week before the cupcakes show up, because what's top tier cupcake? And some people play low tier and they go with salted caramel. I don't know why you would do that. I'm a Sanford Kelly. I go straight for the s'mores. Right? I play a top tier. But that conversation's over. We got a mixture. We got salted caramel and s'mores. Whatever. You know, I got my top tier. We're good. But that's the kind of community we have, and we have more people showing up, playing all sorts of different games, and it's where I spend my time, and I have the desire and the capability to push that out so that other people can see it and come join us and be part of it, grow a bigger community. So that's why I do it. I want to share it because it's been so valuable to me, and these people mean so much to me. The gameplay is not secondary. The gameplay is amazing, and when you show up to one of our events, one of our tournaments, or a weekly or whatever it is, you're gonna get better if you play. If you want to, people are happy to help. But if you also want to come and have a good time, we're gonna do that regardless. So please come and join it. Like this is where I'm spending my time. I do so much throughout the week that I barely have time to rest. But I really look forward to my Mondays when I get to go out, stream, see the people, do the thing. That's why I push it out there.
Yeah. Oh, well, two questions actually. First question is, so what time do you stream and where do you stream it?
So I'm streaming from High Score Lounge. We just finished Detroit Player Series Season 2. And Season 3 is going to be coming up, but I've built into the series with High Score, we build in this community feedback period. So right now we're on break until, let me look at the calendar, June 4th. We're going to go live with Season 3 on June 4th. So from now until then, we have Combo Breaker. We have, I don't know if we have something else next week, but we have casuals every Monday, which are not going to be streamed until Season 3 starts. Then I'll probably do some home streams for building up to Combo Breaker, because I haven't played Street Fighter V in forever. And I have a nice match. I have a money match versus Diablo Bison at Combo Breaker, which I don't think we'll get on stream, but that's going to be so much fun because he's just a great guy.
I'll have to check that out in person.
But yeah, when June 4th, we'll start streaming weekly for Season 3. That'll be every Monday. Starts around 8, ends around midnight. Sometimes goes to about 2. And then we have a monthly that's on every Saturday. Every the final Saturday of every month. Then whatever else people want to invite me out to do. I've got a traveling video production studio. Half of it's sitting right there. And people want to get in touch. I love to stream. I like doing it. It's fun, especially around here. The 6th, we have an event at High Score, which I'll also be streaming. That is a Dragon Ball Fighters tournament hosted by Dre. He used to go by Amiibo King. I cannot remember his new tag. So that will be coming up this Sunday, May 6th. So yeah, input under outputs, the Twitch stream. Input X output is my Twitter handle. Follow me there, and it happens. I'm on break for a little while, but yeah.
Well, my other question was, what's been, whether it be, growing a community on stream or actually doing it in person, what's been the secrets to your success so far with keeping your old players, but also trying to get new people to join in as well?
I can't take credit for that. I can't take credit for the old players sticking around. That's a social thing. That's not me. Some new players definitely show up because the stream is there and because I'm reaching out and inviting. They find the stream. I find them. We went to Frosty, met some people from Ann Arbor, and I was like, "Why don't you come out to my locals?" And they're like, "We didn't know about it." I'm like, "You don't know about it? I'm down the street. Come on." And just trying to get it out there. The more people that find the stream, find my Twitter handle, the more we can grow and build new events. Lots of new people show up, like KJ and John Snoo. They're good. KJ is an amazing player. Just showed up recently out of the blue, found the stream, and then showed up. And he brought John with him. So that's how we grow, is by getting more eyes. I think that Michigan Masters was really helpful for that too, because we hit about 2,000 concurrent view. No, we 2,200 concurrent viewers by the time we ended that. So yeah, it's growing. It's a slow process, but I think the success is to show that it is inviting, and that it's you're not going to get shot coming into Detroit. It's a safe place. It's a good place. It's a fun place. So the focus for me is to present something that is relatable. And when a player gets on my stream, the first thing that I'm thinking as a commentator is, how do I highlight them? How do I show what about them makes them special? Not only as a player, but how they sat down in that chair. Who is this person? You know, who is Brandon? Brandon's a really nice guy. He's a weightlifter. He's huge. He looks like he should play Abigail because he's bigger than Abigail. He's a sweet Chaldean with a great sense of cooking. Like that's just something that helps you identify with him before he starts playing. So you just got to keep those things together, put it out on the stream, and there's no way that if you even like playing fighting games, even casually, that you don't want to show up. You're like, oh, that looks like fun. I want to go.
It's really cool to commentate with you because you knew so much about all these players on the stream for the most part. Like everyone else was local, and I almost felt bad because I was like, I don't know anything about these guys. Like I knew their names and some of their personalities, but I didn't know like their story like you did. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. You know them on a first name basis for the most part. You know their handles. They have it all memorized. So it was very fascinating from my perspective to commentate with you when you knew so much about like their personalities and such.
It's not about like it's just not. I'm not trying to pick at it, but it's not about memorization. These are the people that are involved in my social life, right? They're my friends, so they bring joy into my life, and I want to push that back. Like even if I'm not doing commentary, but I'm sitting behind the stream, you know, something that my stream does that nobody else have seen do consistently is I have all of my players' social media. So if you show up on my stream and I know you'll see that your name rotates, and it rotates between your name and say your Twitter handle, so other people can find you. I try to make sure that if there's a way that I can incorporate technology to help you become more exposed, to help people find everybody, that I can do it. And I've got more ideas. I just need to have time and money to implement them.
Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. Anthony Robbins, he's like a self-help guru, is how people mostly know him. But he says there's 6 human needs, you know, not like water and food, stuff like that. But one of the biggest needs is contribution for a happy life. And curious to know how that rings true or false for you and your experience with the FGC.
I'm not gonna lie, I live a charmed life. Like I have nothing to complain about. I wake up every morning and I haven't reached all of my goals, but the path that I'm on is a pretty good one. And when I live by a 3-part philosophy in my life, which is very simple. And the final rule is leave it better than you found it. So if I walk into any situation, when I leave, that situation should be better than when I entered. And that's how I feel about the FGC. Is I walked into this great place in Detroit with these wonderful people who were really inviting and welcoming and supportive. So how in the world can I leave that a better place? I have to really show up and return that same energy that they've given me. So that's the best way I think I can answer that. I don't know if it does it directly, but that's the sort of feeling that I get.
I like that you have your own personal values and that you at least in this case stay true to it. I think that a lot of people can definitely learn from that. And also, let me ask you this: when it comes to where you are right now with streaming and stuff like that, if someone was just now getting started, that's like, I want to do what you're doing. You know, obviously you still have your own goals and you have so much more farther you want to be, but you're obviously a lot farther than this person who hasn't started yet. What would you tell them to help them get started on that path?
First of all, I'd say you have to really debate if you really want to do it. If you want to do it, the quality that I'm at, it represents a very significant personal investment. And if you want to try to get even to where I am, you're spending a tremendous amount of money, honestly. The other thing is it's a tremendous amount of time. If you look at what I do when I'm sitting behind the deck and I'm working, if you did that in a regular television studio, that would be the work of about 12 people. I'm monitoring sound levels. I'm making sure shots are good. I'm setting up the cameras. I'm making sure the video sources are good. I'm making sure everything's clean. And I'm monitoring the social media at the same time, sending out video clips. Sorry, not video clips. Sending out shots, making tweets. There's a tremendous amount of effort. So before you want to go down that path, really debate first, are you willing to commit the time? Because if you do it half-assed, nobody's watching. Nobody wants to watch anything that's garbage. There are too many people out there now. Twitch is inundated. There are so many people. It's really hard to even get affiliate these days. So if you want to do it, understand that you're going to be putting in a whole lot of effort. The stream layouts, that's all web programming and development. You know, You've got all these different areas that you have to draw all of these skills from. So you've either got to come up with a team that's willing to do it, or be willing to do it all yourself. I'm in the all yourself bucket. You don't want to be me. That's hard. So if you're really trying to get started, and if you want to do events and you want to get a local chapter going, then be part of your scene. Be involved with the people there. See if they actually want to stream. See if if they want to do these things together. Do that. Then start building very slowly from understanding what OBS is in a webcam. How do I get a video source? I get questions like, how do I manipulate my audio in this direction? And I'm like, you kind of need to put this in front of me. I can't answer that for you directly. You have to be set up a little bit. So the best thing I can say is, first, really decide if you're willing to be committed. Because I spent 10 hours yesterday installing a new digital mixer that I had no idea how to use. And now I have it set up so that when I show up on the 6th that I'll have good sound. And that is the biggest thing, is you have to be dedicated to it. You have to look inside and be like, do I really have the passion to see this through to the end? And if you do, then start putting in the work. Start with OBS, start with capturing just one game, start with capturing one set of sound and mixing it in. And if you can get that done in 2 weeks, I'll be surprised, starting from scratch. But the resources are out there. Callisto puts out some really good stuff to help novice streamers. There's Fart Noodle Hut's got Scoreboard, which is very nice. Those are good places to get started. But the most important thing, if you want to be a streamer, is you either then that disregards whether or not you have the content. I'm lucky I have content, which is the people playing. But if I didn't have that, I would have to be streaming my own content all the time. So there are lots of things that go in there, and at the end of the day, I am not successful in terms that in any objective term. My success is what I get out of it, and that is being a part of this community and putting it out there for the rest of the world. I'm not making money. I lose a ton of money every time I go out because equipment breaks. I lost a camera at Michigan Masters. That was very expensive. So the camera, it's like hundreds of dollars, right? And I'm like, okay, cameras break. Somebody, when they took off one of my headsets, they lost the windscreen. It's this little piece of foam. It has a little elastic waistband. I'm like, okay, I'll replace that because these things get lost. No big deal, right? Here it is, right here. This little package. These guys right here. You see, I lost one of these. This is $30. This is $30, and I'm like, why is this $30? It's trash. Like, I hate it. I absolutely. But the camera, whatever.
Go to Michael's. Get some fabric. Oh man, yeah, I saw that tweet about $10 for Pete. It's crazy. So gauge your level of commitment and get some experience. Cool. You've told me what you have going on. I guess one more time, just I'll put the descriptions down below. But where, if they want to reach out to you or follow you again, where can they go?
The best place to get a hold of me is Twitter. It's input x output, and on Twitch, which is where the content is, it's input under output. The YouTube channel is IOput. That's input, where you replace the N with an O, and you can see all the matches. I just uploaded the Detroit Player Series Season 2 finals. We didn't have much content because it was a round robin 1st to 5, and there were 8 brackets that were 4 players each, all running 1st to 5s in the round robins. So that took a while, and we didn't get a lot of it on stream. But that was really good to see the end of Season 2. It was really successful. So catch that on YouTube along with the Michigan Masters footage, and you can get caught up.
Cool. All right. Well, actually, one last follow-up question is I have to ask this. I wanted to ask this before, but what's with the Grumpy Cat hoodies?
Grumpy Cat is my soul. Like, I've got some of my own gear. I've got the IO gear. If I could somehow manage a way to get a clothing deal with Grumpy Cat and IO together, I would just be so happy. Tartar Sauce, that's her name. Her name is Tartar Sauce. Kills me. There's something about that face. Just the meme, it just got me. It's been like 6 years? And every time I see a new Grumpy Cat anything, I'm like, that's amazing. I need it.
Yeah, you have another hoodie that you wear to Michigan Masters. That's just amazing. I had to ask that. I got thrown off guard when I was trying to commentate with you, and I kept seeing what the hoodie was. But yeah,
Yeah,
so that
Grumpy Cat is Ariel. Like, this is amazing. How could you not want it? And even Hollywood Sleep from F3,
yeah,
he came up. He's like, I need that, and I ran away real quick because he's not getting my hoodie.
I don't blame you. That's a pretty extravagant hoodie.
Grumpy Cat for life.
Well, that answers all of my questions. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I've learned a lot. I feel like we could probably do another show in the future because there's probably more questions that I have as as other events happen and unravel, and hopefully I get to go to Detroit a little bit more. Thank you so much. Also to the viewers, if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them down below. Let us know if you went to Michigan Masters or have do follow Input Output. Let us know down below. Of course, hit that subscribe button. I can't even talk. My voice is just like, it's done. But hit that subscribe button, press like, and then just let us know what you think. I appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you all in the next one.